Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another panel. This time it's going to be about sim racing. I know you had a little bit of a break, and now we have another panel for us. We have the host, Seb Delanney, so a round of applause for him, big YouTuber about sim racing.
Hello.
Now, for actually producing it, or taking the credit, as he told me, it's going to be Richard Neville. Round of applause as well. Maxime, I've met her in Berlin. She beat everybody with only one hand, by the way. Round of applause for her. Let's wrap it up. I don't know if you guys know him. Lotterer coming in from Tokyo, by the way, a professional driver. Welcome. Big round of applause. So I know we have a lot to discuss, and I'll stay here, and I know you're really exhausted, so I have one question for you. So how do you feel, and what do you expect about the new Logitech RS?
I'm super excited as just a fan of the products, a fan of cars and sim racing since I've been quite young. Being able to be here, discover the new products, and hopefully have them evolve my driving in every way is really exciting. So there's a lot of new things that we're going to see. I'm looking forward to picking your brains about what's coming up and what your relation to sim racing is. So no, I'm really excited.
You'll be testing the product as well a little bit later on as well. Yeah, I think you tested it already, Andre. So my question to you is, Logitech, does it have the seal of approval?
Yes, it does. It does. I've been actually a Logitech customer since like long time ago when the first wheels came out, and it's great to see how it came along. And I had a little preview already when I saw the rig, the simulator. I thought I have to try, and yeah, it feels really, really good.
Doesn't it? So it has the seal of approval. My job is done. I'm out. Good luck.
Yeah, thank you. No, guys. I mean, first of all, nice to be here. Hello, everyone. Excited to have a chat about what's upcoming with sim racing. But first of all, the world of sim racing, we all love it. But I thought it'd be interesting to give a little bit of background on how you're related to sim racing, how you've discovered it. So Maxime, what's your background with sim racing?
First, I started with go-karting when I was 4 years old. My dad put me in a go-kart with my brother, and we started driving. Also started gaming back then, and I took the step from go-karting to gaming to getting better and better, and on the sim you can drive every day, so you can get better, find tips and tricks online, and improve your driving style. So yeah, I've been sim racing a long time.
Awesome. And Andre, I mean, so obviously professional racing driver, sim racing is a huge tool that you use, right?
Yeah, so throughout my racing career, when I started karting and everything, it's obviously a bit longer ago, there was no such thing as sim racing, or gaming was just starting. You were playing with arrows on the Grand Prix game. And then I started to play, on the PlayStation, and then steerings came along, and the games got better. So I spent really a lot of time just playing, basically, because there was no such thing as online gaming, and I never thought that it will go that far as it is nowadays. So to building my own computer and building my own rig. I found like a go-kart seat, and I welded like a play seat together to be able to play the games. And but then very quickly, within my professional career with racing for big manufacturers like Audi, Sport, for preparing Le Mans and everything, the teams have realized that it's becoming a real tool for motorsport and the engineers to simulate professionally how the cars can drive faster and develop them, and then for us to prepare races beforehand. So Porsche, the brand I race for, they got involved in it, and they have their own team, and so they've asked us professional drivers to take part in sim racing too. So I've done the 24 hours of Le Mans with a real team of drivers, and that was my first taste of sim racing. And also during COVID times, we couldn't race, so the championship I was racing in at that time, the Formula E, they decided to do a race at home challenge. So all the drivers from the real championship got sent some rigs, and then every weekend we were doing a championship in sim racing. So it was very interesting to see the evolution from basically nothing to what it is now. And now I spend a lot of time professionally also in the simulator to prepare the races. Yeah.
Awesome. And Richard, I mean, you're now a product manager of simulation at Logitech G. How did you get into this role, and where did this kind of passion for simulation come from?
I'm actually going to beat Andre probably a little bit on age on this one, I think. Yeah, my probable first experience of something like sim racing was pole position in the arcades. Yeah, late 70s, early 80s. And it's been interesting to watch it evolve over time. I mean, I remember there was a game, F1, I think it was an F1 game, on the ZX Spectrum, and the steering wheel was literally a yellow plastic disc that you rolled across the keys to actually steer. No joke. It was horrible. It was terrible. And you've seen that develop. I mean, you mentioned playing with the cursor keys. Yeah, I remember Indy 500 on the Amiga, trying to control those things, because that was a proper sim, right? That was where that was the team behind iRacing. That was their first proper title. And they were really trying to get to properly simulate a car. I mean, it looked blocky graphics as you'd expect back then, but it was amazing. And you've seen it develop over time. It's been really interesting. I remember working in retail in the late 90s, maybe early 2000s, and Logitech had released the new wheel with Momo. And it was like, wow, this is really starting to happen. You know, that's a real steering wheel brand. And yeah, we all know what's happened in the intervening years. It's become amazing. It's grown. You've got so many companies now entering this space. But Logitech, of course, have been there for 25 years or more now, doing this now. So it's just been really, really interesting to see how this develops. And maybe we'll dive into some of that tech a bit later, right?
Definitely,
Sure,
I think so, yeah. The idea is to dive into that as much as possible. And also, one thing that as a car fan, as a motorsport fan, I think is really interesting is how sim racing has made motorsport more accessible. Because motorsport's always been tricky to get into. You can watch it, on TV, etc. But to actually be involved, experience it, get to learn the characteristics of different cars or different tracks, it's effectively been impossible. The barriers to entry of motorsport through the cost of whether it be karting, and then the more you evolve through the different categories, is pretty crazy. So, sim racing and that evolution has made it so much more accessible to so many different people. So how have you seen that as a professional racing driver, now looking on to the young racing drivers coming up? Do you see how big of an impact that's had on the accessibility of motorsport?
Yeah, massive, because like you said, it was, or it still is a sport that obviously costs a bit more than playing tennis or playing soccer. So you need a bit of that start capital. And I think to be a racing driver is quite a lot of little boys and girls' dream to reach that. But unfortunately, it's not really possible for everyone. You can't just go in a club, but sim racing has enabled that. And I think that what's amazing is that it's a huge platform where everyone plays online and can compete at a really, really high level and develop even more impressive skills than us. Like when we had this race at home challenge, we had to practice with the pro sim drivers, which these guys spent day and night on it, and they were teaching us driving techniques because they go into much more details. And so it just shows how much talent you can also find, because it is touching a lot more people. And some of these actually make the transition into the real sport. So the dream can come true thanks to the sim racing.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Maxime, you've seen it. You've been at the forefront of this evolution for a while now, and seeing, sim racing and the development online. How have you seen this community grow and evolve over the years?
Yeah, as Andre also told, like when COVID happened, everything stopped and nobody could race. And we all got online. So we also got some opportunities to, as a sim racer, to drive against Formula 1 drivers. And then, in real life that would never be possible, but then to get the chance to drive against a Formula 1 driver, compare your skills, and maybe even beat one of the guys, that's very impressive and so cool to do. And it's nice to get opportunities like that. But again, like you can start sim racing much easier. The barrier to entry is much lower, so you can start sim racing, practice as much as you want, drive on every track, everywhere. If you crash, there is no damage, there is no money involved there, so that's even better. And for me, it gave me the chance to practice a lot, improve, and I got the chance to get my racing license. So I did the course, and thanks to sim racing, I knew what to do, and I got it in one time. So, yeah.
Congrats.
Cool. Thank you.
And have you seen now at different tracks that motorsport fans are more knowledgeable thanks to sim racing potentially? So, I know, for example, before an F1 race, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go on the sim, I'm going to try and learn the track. I'm going to try and, as best I can, understand what's to come, in the upcoming race. Try and be as knowledgeable as I can when I speak to my friends, and pretend like I know what's, going on in the upcoming races. But have you seen now when you see motorsport fans, you're in Japan just now doing a race, that they'll be much more knowledgeable on the intricacies of racing thanks to sim racing?
Yeah, definitely. I think they know so much more, and I think it gives an opportunity for kids or for anyone to understand the motorsport world a lot more from the variety of cars. So you basically even learn a bit more history of motorsports, see what kind of circuits are out there, and play with certain cars. So they know all the details, and they know beforehand already what we can maybe experience. And I think the thing is that they can identify themselves a little bit to what we live or what we live in the race. So I think what's nice about it is that, from my side as a professional driver, is that I can share that passion with a much bigger community, because before it was just, you can only talk racing with people who really race, but now I can talk racing with sim racers as well. So it's it's a really cool exchange.
That community is growing so much, obviously, and how important in your development of new upcoming products is the community, is that community feedback?
It's everything. It is everything. People may know that I spend a lot of time online. They know who I am. I am very open about it on places like Reddit and Facebook. I originally did it really to help people out, because actually getting wheels working on sim racing sometimes can be a bit of a difficulty, right? It's not always plug and play. So you want to try and help people and get them going. But once they know that that's who you are, you're there to help, you can just start discussing with them. And if you spend enough time online and listen, you will pick up all the little the desires, the touches, the things that they are looking for in what they're doing with sim racing. So that's kind of like an unofficial thing, but officially we do a lot of consumer research as well. We get pros and enthusiasts in to test, early models, samples, and it's for everything. It's performance, it's for fit, is this actually the right thing? Are we doing the right thing? This is all the stuff that takes a lot of time. So yeah, community. It's very important. And actually, one of the things I love about the sim racing community as well is it's probably one of the least toxic communities online, which some of them can be fairly bad, right? But sim racing, most people, they're quite nice to each other, generally speaking. There's some exceptions, there always are. But generally speaking, they love to just, if someone asks a question, you will have multiple people answering it. And that's the kind of thing that I love to see. It's great.
And there must obviously be a balance also in developing for different profiles. So you'll have someone like Andre, a professional driver, where you'll need to get really deep into the depths of it and give really precise feedback. But then you'll have an amateur driver, like myself, who's someone who just likes cars, where it needs to just be plug and play, easy to switch on. Maxime, you'll be able to get into the real details of it, like Andre. How do you manage being able to build a product that will work for all those different profiles? How hard is it to balance that?
It's actually not difficult at all.
Great, there you go.
To be honest with you, we focus on giving people the best performance that they can get, right? And then even if you are new to sim racing and you don't even know what you're doing, you just know you want a good product to actually get into it, right? Eventually, you may well then develop and become more of a pro. And at that point, you want the product you've already got maybe to be performant. You want it to actually feel good and know that what you bought into is the right thing. So to be honest with you, as far as that goes, we don't really look at different personas and profiles and all the rest of it. Where that generally comes into, of course, is different levels. We have our Pro wheel, we have our G Series wheels, and of course this is the less fun stuff, but different price points, right? Everyone's got a path into the sim racing ecosystem, right? Someone only has $200, some people have $1,000, whatever it is, we want to make sure we have those options there. But like I said, wherever you buy into it, you want to feel that the product you've got is good. It feels good, it performs well. And then the last thing really, and this is true of all the products that we do at Logitech, is it's got to be reliable. We have a huge reputation for reliability. There are people using G25 wheels. You were a G25, weren't you?
Yeah.
I think you were, yes.
As soon as it came out.
That came out 2006. People are still using them today. And that's why. They're built everyone says they're built like tanks.
Yeah, robust. Yeah.
Right, exactly. And everything we do is about making sure that any product we release lives up to that legacy of reliability. It's so important.
Yeah, it's interesting for us as fans to kind of get a behind-the-scenes look. And Maxime, you've gotten the ultimate behind-the-scenes look and the ultimate kind of compliment and honor of being able to, come from a sim racer to actually going behind the scenes and developing with Logitech upcoming products. How did that feel? Really exciting to get asked to do that.
Yeah, no, it's a very special feeling to be able to be the voice of the community. Of course, I read all the comments as well, just as Richard. I'm online checking what does the community want, provide the feedback back to Logitech, and then being one of the first to try the new products and say it's good, we're getting it, and to get what you want for sim racing and to get all the products you need and expand the whole ecosystem. That's a dream come true.
Definitely. And Andre, little question for you. I've always wondered. You've raced in different categories. You've done Super Formula, you've driven F1 cars, you've been in Formula E, now WEC, World Endurance Championship. Obviously, going from different categories and racing all over the world, how much of an importance is having your own setup at home and being able to use those extra hours that prior to sim setups at home being a thing, how big of a role does that play in you preparing a switch from categories or different racetracks?
Well, the rig at home used to be very useful. For example, when I prepared myself for racing the 24 hours of Nürburgring the first time, I don't know if you guys know the Nürburgring, Nordschleife, it's 25 kilometers of each corner being different. So I thought I better do my homework and go play a bit. So, but at that time, it was on Gran Turismo, and it was a really good tool. And so I arrived. I actually felt like I was there. I knew I just needed to adapt what the car's potential would be. But then, like I said before, the teams got onto it professionally. So at Porsche, we have a simulator room that is as big as this room. It's on massive tripods. It's moving a lot. I mean, it costs probably I don't know, something like 1 or 2 million euros, and it's like NASA, and so it's so important that before each race we do prep. We prepare the race. So in Formula E, we did 3 days before each race. So the particularity about Formula E racing is that we go into the cities and we race in the heart of the cities, and as you cannot block the city to practice beforehand, the city is just there for the race on race day. So we know beforehand, we get the data, and there's companies that actually scan the road to get every little bump. So we recreate the racetrack before even having been there or haven't even seen it, and we practice on the sim for 3 days, so we know everything, and we arrive there for the first time, and we're immediately up to speed, knowing where to go, so you just need to feel a bit the grip. So this became really, really professional, and the more we go, So after the race, we come back to correlate, to match the grip, and to bring it every time a step closer to reality. So it's really, really impressive how far we've come with this, and it's almost too professional for me to enjoy. You know, I used to enjoy having the sim at home and playing basically, but this is like real work. So when I saw the rig there, I felt like a kid again. Okay, I want to try it because I can select any car, any track I want. But when I go for work, it's like, oh yeah, you have to sit in there with the helmet. It's like professional work. But yeah, back to your question. It's I think it's for every driver. It's essential now. I think. Especially when you need to learn a new track or different scenarios in the race, that you can simulate everything, like different setups, and and the engineers are sitting in the back. You talk with them on the radio, and they get all the exact data as they would in real life. So yeah, it's super interesting and challenging also for us to develop the car and come up with new ideas, and yeah, it's also cost effective obviously because we're limited in test time that we can have on the real track. We used to be able to go and test on the real track anytime, but now you're only allowed to do like 10 or 12 days per year. So the more they restrict that, the more we do simulator basically, and the more we get close to reality. But yeah, if I want to learn about a new track and it's not part of my racing, or then I get on the rig and then I play a bit and then I enjoy at the same time. Yes.
And do you see more and more sim racers coming through to real racing, you know, on track and coming from that world and making the transition?
It hasn't happened too much. I mean, I think you've seen the movie Gran Turismo, right? That came. I've raced actually against him. He came to race in Japan for after he succeeded.
How'd it go?
Yeah. So no, he was all right. Actually, he was good. He didn't win races, but he was up there. So it's a cool story, I think. And I've asked the question at Porsche because Porsche have their own esports team and at a really high level, but some guys are not at all into driving the real thing. You know, they are not athletes. You know, the chain smokers, and they get offered to drive the real race car because Porsche thinks, okay, you want to have a go, you can have a go. It's like, no, I'm scared in that thing.
Yeah.
So, but some of them actually have. A connection of doing karting, and then they go in there. But I think it's possible, but it's really case by case, and if an opportunity comes up, maybe some guys came through, but it's you need both. I don't think it's possible to completely come from sim racing into professional world, because you have to imagine all of us start when we're like 7 or 8 years old in a go-kart, and all this sensory that we have, and also the risk management and driving on in different conditions. You know, like you can't really crash like the same way. You know, but I think it's interesting to probably work together with them because, as I said before, they spend day and night on the sims, and their racecraft, they could be smarter than us because they're non-stop trying to find little tricks, because they're fighting against, I don't know how many people are racing online, like
A lot.
it's limitless, right? So to beat everyone, you need to find all the little tricks. I'm racing against 30 guys, you know. Okay, we supposedly be at the top of the talents, but I think it's much tougher to succeed in the sim racing. So to understand what little tricks they find to have that extra performance, I think is interesting to look at.
There's hope for us still. We can maybe all become race drivers.
There are some friends of me, content creators as well. They have made it, like with Suelio. We're like also a Logitech ambassador. He made it from sim to the track, and he's winning races. Like that's like very impressive. And we have Jimmy Broadbent, Super GT. They are doing the 24 hours of Nürburgring, and then in the GT4 class, and they won a race as well. So we're seeing more and more sim racers
Coming for you, Andre.
moving on to the real world, and it's really awesome to see that.
But what's interesting to see is like Max Verstappen, right? Like he's a big sim racer, and he comes into the sim world, and he's really good, right? Like he's in a really good team and winning and spending a lot of time because he was actually saying for him it helps him as well because he's competing against the best of the best, right? Like I said, us percentage-wise we're not that many, but in the sim racing world you can really fight like the ultimate talent. So I think it's challenging for him as well.
Definitely. And Richard, so how do you envision the future of sim racing as a whole, and where do you see Logitech's role in shaping that future?
Oh, well, I mean, we've always been at the forefront of offering something for people to sim race with, and that's still going to be the case going forwards. I think the future now is bringing that improvement in fidelity. We launched the Pro Wheel 2 years ago. It's direct drive. There's a number of direct drives on the market now. And it's bringing that level of technology down to people who maybe can't afford something at that price point. That's what we really want to focus on going forwards. How can we deliver that level of fidelity for someone who's maybe not got $1,000 in their pocket? How can we do that? Because something like the G29, it's been on the market now for 9 years. It's the best-selling wheel of all time, no question. But equally, it's an older mechanism for delivering the force feedback. So how can we make something that's at that price point that gives you maybe not quite as strong as something like Pro Wheel, something a bit more tame, maybe something lighter on the newton meters of torque? How can we do that? And that's what that's our biggest aim now, to bring that level of technology down to more entry-level markets.
And also, I mean, my sim, so I'm lucky enough to have a sim at home, and one of the big things I see is whenever people come over, whenever I have friends over, first thing they want to do, I actually doubt that they're even really coming to see me. I think they're just coming to have a good time on the sim, right? People of all sorts of different levels. How big is having kind of adjustability and being able to tailor your sim to different profiles? And is that something that you're working on in a big way for upcoming products?
Yeah, that's a big part of it. People already modify something like the G29, but they've almost got to take it apart to do it. How can we enable that level of customization without having to take apart the product completely to do it, right? So that's another aspect that you'll start to see. And we're going to be announcing some products at Logi Play, so this could be where this conversation is going, I believe.
I think so.
So, yeah, you will see that. And what we really want to do is allow people to have a bit more fun with what they want to do. If they want a specific shaped steering wheel, they want to attach it to that Pro Wheel base. Let's see if we can deliver that.
Well, I think we're going to get into the heart of the subject now, and we have some new products that we're going to go discover. So
Absolutely.
You're going to walk us through them. I think we're going to be able to even try them out.
Yep.
Take some notes on what you guys are doing. But yeah, I think we need to walk over just over there, and we're going to have a go.
Let's go see Racing Series.
Let's do it.
Let's go.
All right, here we are. We've got the new setups in front of us. Walk us through these. There's a lot that I'm looking at that I'm excited to hear about.
There's more than meets the eye here, actually. So what you've got here is, it looks like a complete wheel. It is a complete wheel, but actually what it's made up of is what we call the RS Wheel Hub. Now that is the main button box with a new RPM LED on top, and that attaches to this Pro Wheel, the same quick release mechanism that we had with the old Pro Wheel. But now what we're allowing people to do is very easily put a different shaped steering wheel onto that wheel hub. So what we have attached here is the RS track wheel. And as the shape suggests, this is more of a GT3 style, Formula style wheel rim. This is something that is going to be much more suited for that style of racing. The other shape we're launching, we don't have it here today, but is a round wheel. That'll be great for rallying or drifting, where you want the wheel to feed for your fingers, right? And then if we look down here on the right, we have the RS shifter and handbrake. Now that, as the name suggests, is both a sequential shifter and a handbrake.
Oh.
And it really is
It can do both at
You can do both.
Oh, wow.
Do both. You can choose to reconfigure that very quickly and easily, and it really is, if Maxime holds the microphone, I can show you how quickly it is. We just undo the handle here. It's quite a long thread, so maybe not that quick, but you know. There you go, out it comes, and we pop it into the other hole. And
No
that
way.
now is a handbrake.
So this is what we were talking about it being customizable, adjustable for all different profiles. If you want to do on-track racing,
Yep.
you have one setup. And if you want to go rally driving, drifting, you can change the steering wheel and you can change your handbrake sequential.
Exactly.
Incredible.
And,
Wow.
And the great thing is with the way we've designed it, that of course, if you're doing rallying or drifting, you probably want both a sequential and a handbrake. And you can do that because on top of the clamp that we ship in the box, you can bolt the second unit on top of that. So you actually have maybe a handbrake up top here, sequential shifter down the bottom.
So you can have both at the same
At
time.
the same time.
Okay, incredible. And so you said there's shift lights as well on the top here, right? So, you know, LED shift lights on the
Yep.
top of the steering wheel? Okay.
Absolutely. Yeah, so that will, you can reconfigure those. You can have them in standard patterns, left to right to left, inside out, outside in, or you can reconfigure them as you want. You can change the colors, they're fully RGB, and they're fully supported in any game that supports Logitech's RPM LEDs. So,
Well, we have a pro sim racer and a pro driver with us right now. So I think there's no better way to show what you've been working on all this time than actually giving it a try here. So where are we? What are we racing? And are you excited to try out? Andre, I have a microphone for you.
I'm actually in my LMP1 Porsche that I was racing in 2017.
Okay.
Yeah, so I know the car quite well, so let's see how it feels here. So I have a good comparison.
Awesome.
so Maxime, is this going to be an unfair race?
Yeah, he picked the car, so he has an unfair advantage, and he has a lot of experience with the car, but I'm gonna try my best and see what we can do.
All right, shall we give it a go?
Let's give it a
Shall we
go.
get started? Right, off we go. What made you pick... Oh, we're picking a track.
It's just
We have a... Which track are we going for?
Wait, let me...
there you go. He's found it. Event setup.
Spa, let's take Spa.
Do you both know Spa well?
Everyone knows Spa.
So what made you pick this steering wheel shape? Because this is, you know, a big development. So
It's the feedback we've had.
Yeah.
Ever since we launched Pro Wheel, all we get asked every day, every week, can you do a GT3 or Formula style
Yeah.
wheel that we can attach to the Pro Wheel? So we know this is going to be the most popular shape that we're doing. Absolutely, without
it's very cool. The quality finish, these paddles. You can't, we won't get it across. Maybe you'll hear it like this, but such a satisfying sound.
This one, expert. I'm an expert, no?
Oh, Maxime's going away.
Maxime's gone.
Off she goes. You ready to rock and roll?
Let's check what lap time she... Wait, mine hasn't started yet, right?
I think Andre's getting a little bit of an advantage here, taking notes, looking on the left already. Maxime, do you want your headset?
I don't need my headset. I'll just keep talking with you guys.
All right,
And
Andre,
Try
here you
to
go.
get a
All right.
fast lap in. Hopefully it's
Already
fast
sounds
enough
the
to beat
same.
Andre.
See here, a bit of
There we go.
understeer, so I feel the steering got lighter, so that's realistic.
Oh, a little bit too
You
fast
can
into
see
the
the
corners.
shift lights
but
here
Yeah.
on the top of the steering wheel. That's a very cool
I really
feature.
wanted the
Keep it
track
flat.
wheel, this wheel shape for so long, and now we finally have it. So I'm super happy
Oh, and we've got a crash here.
that we
This
got
was
We've
the
it.
had a
one-
crash.
This was the
Dead.
one you kept on asking me for, wasn't it?
Yeah, I was like, okay, we have the pro base, but
I think we've got a bit of damage.
when do we get a track wheel, like a Formula shape wheel?
Could you
And we
feel the
finally-
impact on the wheel?
So I'm very
Yeah,
happy.
now my car's damaged, my steering wheel is not very straight, so it's just like in real life.
Yeah.
Don't know if I should continue this lap.
Looks like Andre chose the expert settings and he's already damaged his
Are
steering.
you able to restart it?
Yeah, those are racer excuses, right?
Yeah, if you go exit and then
Exit.
restart.
to event menu, that's it, then you can do that.
Maybe I'm not that much of an expert.
We went full send into
Maxime
Blanchiment. Is it Blanchiment?
What's this going to be, a 2-minute? 2:10?
Au rouge. You have Au rouge.
I didn't want to say, but Spa's
Blanchiment is
actually
last
my favorite
sector.
track.
Rédillon, there you go, that's
So,
what it is.
We shall see.
Will you often try different, like rally driving, drifting, things like that?
Actually, what I like having a simadome, I like to do rally or drifting, things I can't do in real life.
Yeah.
I want to more or less do the opposite because.
So having the sequential or the handbrake like this is an awesome feature, right?
Yeah, I'm sure
There you go.
try a
no
rally.
penalty.
First track under the belt.
Yeah, let's find some
We're back on
improvement here
track.
and there. Get used to the car, to the track, and to the new products we all have.
Okay,
Ooh.
through the previously crashed corner.
Is
Made
Andre
it.
using sound or not?
How does the feedback feel on
He
the wheel?
restarted. He's going.
It's good. You feel the load, like especially the compression. You feel the steering getting heavier, so it helps you to feel the car. What I like also the brake pedal.
He
is
just
getting
took Raddy
hard
on like
at the end,
the pro that he is,
real race
basically.
car.
Oh,
Slam the brakes.
so I gotta put some more effort in there.
Oh, look out, back end going.
Bit too much there.
You even feel like when you go on power, the front changes dynamic, so you can dose the throttle, not to go to power too early. It's quite important to feel that.
You can see
And are
struggling
those
with
paddle
that wheel
shifters
there.
as satisfying as they sound?
Yeah, it's quite strong.
Oh, it's on auto.
Auto here.
They
I don't
put
know. Manual.
put the nanometers quite high,
They feel
probably
like,
around
it's like the real deal.
11.
We want to give people a workout.
Exactly.
Richard,
Don't have
what's
to go
the
to
lap
the
time
gym
we're
anymore.
working with over there?
2:22.
2:22. Are you confident?
Well, I qualified the 154 in this car. Let's see if I can do that in the sim, but it doesn't feel like.
Oh, oh.
Although she's 4 seconds up at the moment.
4 seconds up. Oh, we've had an off. We've had an off.
Oh no!
Are you going to make it out of the gravel trap? He's made it out.
That's Blanche.
Okay, we're coming up to the,
okay.
oh, it's 4.5 seconds up at the moment, so it's going to be a 2:18.
2:18. I think you're going to get us. You're going to get us. We're at 2:08 now.
One more lap.
Last lap? Okay.
Are we able to do another lap?
5 seconds, so it's 2:17.
Can we do another lap?
All right, two.
We have 1 minute left. So
I think
either
we're
you
nearly
need to do
done
a lap in 1
I
minute.
can do a victory lap then, I think.
All right, so you've done your lap. How does it feel? First time trying out the new equipment.
Yeah, very good, very good. Like I need maybe one more lap to beat her, but you know it feels at home. The grip feels good, and yeah, you feel like you're in control of everything. You have good force feedback, and yeah, it feels very intuitive. So yeah, definitely something
Awesome.
I can play with all day.
Awesome. Well, Richard and Maxime, because you've been involved in the development, thanks for showing the new products to us. This is an exciting day. So it's been awesome being able to get to know everything new coming from Logitech G. So yeah, thanks and congrats.
No, thanks for coming.
Bye, guys.